after 9 cheetah deaths in Madhya Pradesh's Kuno National Park, Union Forest Minister Bhupender Yadav has blamed the monsoon infections for the cheetah deaths. The Union Minister's statement comes as 9 cheetahs, including 6 adult cheetahs, brought from Africa and 3 cubs born in India itself have died in the Kuno National Park in the past 6 months. Yadav has assured that the forest officials are in talks with the experts from Namibia and South Asia. The cheetah deaths have sparked several concerns in the recent months, with what matter even reaching the top court of the country, where the centre has claimed that the cheetah deaths are troubling but not unduly alarming.
इंसेक्ट्स होते हैं मानसून के कारण, उसका एक हमें संक्रमण ध्यान में आया है, जो स्वाभाविक रूप से यहाँ के मानसून का और का जो संक्रमण है वो ध्यान में आया है। जो उस संक्रमण के कारण हमारे 2 चीतों का नुकसान भी हुआ है, उसको हमने और साउथ एशिया के और नामीबिया के और जो इंटरनेशनल एक्सपर्ट्स हैं उनके साथ शेयर भी किया है और इस प्रबंधन विषय पे भी हम अब आगे बढ़ रहे हैं।
My colleague Govind is joining me to give us more details. Govind, we know that 9 cheetah deaths took place in the Madhya Pradesh's Kuno National Park. It is, of course, a big setback for the cheetah project of the centre. Now, the Union Forest Minister Bhupender Yadav has blamed the monsoon infections for the cheetah deaths.
Yeah, earlier you know that whatever the affidavit has been submitted in Supreme Court by the government, it has been claimed that the mortality rate in this, in fact, in cheetahs is expectedly much higher. That's why one after other such bad news coming in from Kuno National Park. And today, Union Home Minister Bhupender Yadav himself accepted that there is some reason of the infection being created due to the monsoon in Kuno National Park. There is no problem with the atmosphere of Kuno National Park or the climate of the Kuno National Park or the arrangements of the Kuno National Park. Union Minister is just telling new truth behind the death of these cheetahs, that due to the infection in monsoon, a couple of cheetahs, in fact, he just also talked about it that a couple of cheetahs died, in fact, but the total 9 cheetah have lost their life, including 3 cubs, and 15 are left now. You know that it's a huge and ambitious project of central government to rehabilitate the cheetah in our nation, and this is the process has started, and this is the first year of the translocation of these cheetahs from Namibia or South Africa to India. But this process will go every year. Cheetahs are to be transported from Namibia to Kuno National Park or any other national park. So this is what Union Minister shared. The one more fact that behind the death of these cheetahs, a couple of cheetah died just because of the infection in monsoon season. So this is what we can't deny that it's quite disappointing one that when we hear the news one after other that one more cheetah died in Kuno National Park, then other died in Kuno National Park.
Right.
That is quite disappointing
Right.
one. But this is
Absolutely.
what the thing comes out through Union Minister. The infection is also
Right.
the reason.
All right, Govind, thank you for joining us and giving us an understanding of what exactly is happening and what the government is saying. Let me get into a discussion on this. Mr. Arjun M. Gopalaswamy, the founder and chief scientist of Canasius Global, is joining me. Thank you for taking out time, Mr. Arjun. Well, a year since its launch, the government's ambitious wildlife experiment has already hit unforeseen challenges. We know that 4 South African and 2 Namibian cheetahs died in the last 6 months. 3 of the 4 cubs born to the Namibian cheetah perished due to heat stroke in May. And now the number has risen to 9, but the government is saying this is due to the monsoon infections. But there were cheetah deaths that took place in May and even the months before that. What do you have to say?
Yeah, this is definitely, of course, a setback because most scientists who were critical of this project, or rather the execution of this project, myself included, were more really worried about the rewilding phase of this project. That is, after we let the cheetahs out, What are they going to come into? Say predation with leopards, or and we have already seen them move out of Kuno National Park. So the dangers associated with repeated chemical immobilization and bringing them back into the park, and the general lack of space issue of Kuno itself was what we thought is going to be the most important factors. Unfortunately, that part of the project has barely begun because we are just 2 months into that, and some unforeseen sort of circumstances, we have seen about 7 out of the 9 deaths have happened within the enclosures, and the two deaths that have happened outside the enclosures were due to these skin infections. And I think they've discovered about 7 to 8 cheetahs having these skin infections, to which medicines have been provided for now. But this is a very temporary measure. So the worries that will now come into play is because these were all completely unforeseen part of the problem. They may be related to adaptation, they may be related to some changes that have to occur within the cheetahs, almost on an evolutionary time scale, which means you're looking at maybe several generations that can run to 50 years or 100 years later for such adaptations to take place. We do not know. So I think it has reached a very critical point, and this is where I think there is a stress for immediate innovation, and the worries is, can they achieve all these on time? But this apart, the larger problem still remains. The kind of known problems of the area being too small, whether there's enough adequate prey, suitability of the larger habitat, and those problems still remain. So yeah, that's all we can say at this point, I would guess.
Right. Also, secondly, I would like to ask you, well, it took the loss of nearly 200 of these big cats to standardize the wild cheetah reintroduction project back in South Africa. If we talk from 1966 to 1996, and then India, we think, or what I would like to ask, what do you think will undoubtedly undergo similar growing pain before the numbers stabilize?
Well, we need to consider two things here, and we need to draw an analogy to some other parts of science. Suppose somebody discover a vaccine, let's say in United States, that's going to help patients across Asia and Africa. Sooner or later, we do get that vaccine by some means and use it. So when a solution has been found, we normally say, use that solution. But we never say, now India has never done this. South Africa lost 200 plus cheetahs. So let us also lose a lot of cheetahs. I don't think that argument is sound, because everything that is known has to be used, right? So that's where the question comes. Because so far there has never been a successful reintroduction, cheetah reintroduction effort that has been successful even in Africa when we talk about unfenced reserves. Within fenced reserves, yes, and that's the knowledge that's coming through. But we don't have the fences here, and as the statements go, that's not the plan either. So the risk level is already very, very high. So I don't really buy that argument that India should also just keep losing cheetahs and then they will learn. No, if the technology is already known and what must be done, they must be used right away.
Absolutely, Mr. Arjun M. Gopalaswamy, thank you for joining us on Mirror Now and giving us the details and the ideas, and of course what you think could be done, and about, of course, the 9 deaths of cheetahs that have been reported. We will be, of course, keeping tracking of all these details, but thank you for joining us and giving us your views.